Actually, it's the lead play in our offense.
Tell the tackle, take the defensive end. If he's over him, if he's not, you drive down the first man to his inside. Pull back and tell him to take the first man outside the offensive tackle. No one shows. Go right by him and field inside. If the YN has the linebacker taken out, he cuts inside. If the YN has the linebacker in, he comes all the way around. If you look at this play, what we're trying to get is a seal here and a seal here, and try to run this play in the alley.
What's up, guys? Welcome into Packers Total Access Postgame Show. My name is Clayton. You can check us out on packernet.com. You can find me on Twitter at Packers_access. I'm joined alongside Tim live in Green Bay. We got Jacob from the Packernet Fantasy Podcast, and the Packers drop another tough one to the Denver Broncos, 19-17, out at Empower Stadium at Empower Field at Mile High Stadium, I think is what it's called now. So they're out there paying bills, changing the name and all that good stuff. But guys, that was a tough one. Packers offense, to the best of my knowledge, was shut out in the first half and held the Broncos to 9 points in the first half. Of course, come out in the second half, like all season long, the Packers get a little bit hot. End up scoring 17 points, but come up short, 19-17. Let's go around the horn real quick. I'll put everybody in their normal spot here. Bang. Initial thoughts on the game. We're going to dive into the stats. We're probably going to get a little bit of soundbite from your favorite head coach, Matt LaFleur, as he talks about we should have got Aaron Jones the ball more. But what do you think, Jacob? How are we feeling, man?
I have a series of notes here. I'm going to rattle through them.
Let's hear it. Let's hear it.
So I want to almost do it to the sound of that one song, We Didn't Start the Fire. No Jair, crap play calling, no Jones, missed DPI, Kenny Clark, whole Grundy sucks. Anyways, I wanted to try that. So basically, no Jones, no Jair. I'm sorry, not enough Jones, no Jair, crappy play calling, missed DPI we talked about. Kenny Clark just, I don't know what he's doing on some of these plays. The run D is horrendous. Missed tackles, slow start again. Love is not the guy. Sloppy play. We come out lazy and flat once again on the road. Missed kick, no effort. Team is soft. We're like a bunch of warm butter. We're so soft. And the Goody draft picks are all starting to kind of like, this is just, I don't know where to attack how bad we are first, because I don't know what we did this game. It just, to me, it feels like that Matt LaFleur has no idea he doesn't see the identity of this offense. Jones would go in for 3 runs in a row. We'd pull him. We'd throw in Dylan for 3 runs. Then we'd have Emilio Wilson in for 3 plays in a row. And then we'd start going 12 personnel for whatever reason. And then we'd start just randomly throwing 11. We'd get like multiple first downs. All right, let's stop being successful. Let's go back to 12. Let's start doing some good stuff. Like, I don't understand the defensive. Like, the defense, I will say this. I don't understand the people on the social media. I quickly looked at it. Even my own brother.
Your own brother. You break my heart.
This defense is horrible. And I was like, but this is the only shining light in this whole freaking team right now. I mean,
it's crazy, man.
Nothing is I mean, I shouldn't say nothing is bad about the defense, but we held them. We were in this game. We held them to 9 points in the first. I mean,
and that's with the offense punting.
Yes.
This field goal, punting. It's crazy.
I don't think that Jordan Love is the guy, and it really much pains me. You guys know that I was very much on that bandwagon. I don't think that Matt LaFleur is the guy. I'm going to say that right now. If anything, if you had to, oh gosh, if I'm on a room with Toby, Matt LaFleur, and Joe Barry, and I have a gun with 2 bullets.
There it is. Josh Martin with the super chat. He agrees with you. He says, all you Love fans need to realize he ain't it. Well, I got something for you, Josh Martin, and you, Jacob.
It's my quarterback.
To get home with you. And for those of you asking like Jacob, saying they want more than 8 carries from Aaron Jones.
I'm not going to, so quit asking.
It's live feed of Matt LaFleur. Man, it was so hard to It was so hard to watch the play calling, and I'm just being honest. And I know there's still people that are, there's nothing wrong with play calling's execution. Bro, you hit the nail on the head, Jacob. I know we were talking about in the chat. It's like you struggle to move the ball the entire first half. Ton of 12 personnel, right? And then you come out in the second half, you spread it out, you go 11 bunch with no nasty. Whoa, what a concept, right? And you move the ball right down the freaking field. I about said a bad word. Right down the field, right? And you get some momentum going. And the second you get momentum going, you literally got 3 first downs in a row, right? And then you go, I've got it right here. I want to read this to you guys because it was absolutely crazy. I think it was our very, very first one. Let's see. God, of course, I won't be able to find it. We got 3 first downs in a row, and then we break out the chicanery, right? We go to a play action boot, halfback screen throwback all the way across the field. We've tried that. I think I've counted 6 times this season.
With Dontavian Wicks.
We are 1 for 6. Then the very next play or the very next drive, I can't remember, you try to run the end around with Dontavian. It's like everything you were doing was working, and then you went completely opposite from it. And God forbid you stay in 11 personnel where Jaden Reed's on the field. I mean, Jaden Reed making that touchdown catch, like, come on, guys. That shouldn't have been a touchdown. But Jaden Reed is just one of those. He's a playmaker. He is. And the fact that they can't get him out in space and scheme him open just blows my mind. It absolutely blows my mind. Mike, first of all, Josh, thank you for the super chat, buddy. And we agree. We're just being sarcastic. Yeah, it's looking more and more grim. Mike Hebring with the super chat. Thank you, buddy. He said, okay, so I was wrong. 145 is not 150. Talking about the rushing yards, I assume. But it's amazing, man, how many people were coming at me on Twitter about the defense. And I'm going, guys, you realize you're getting shut out by the 31st defense in the entire league, and you're blaming Joe Barry for giving up 9 points? What? Are you high? What are we talking about here? Like, it's crazy. Let me hit this one here, Tim, then I want to get your initial thoughts, buddy. We got Godsmack AR69 in the house says, I'm so tired of Rodgers and his unwillingness to play with him. Matt LaFleur's, oh, wait. First of all, get LaFleur a dictionary so he can dump the generic nonsense and light a fire under his butt. Yeah, we had a kind of a conversation about it. I was in about 6 different chats today, some of which were not even Packer fans, and everyone, it was pretty unanimous going, seems like Aaron was doing the best he could with what they had. Now, what's crazy to think about, and we're real critical on Jordan Love right now, and rightfully so. He had a bad game. You have a chance to win the game at the end. Shouldn't have had the touchdown pass to Jaden Reed, but at the end, you throw behind Christian Watson, you get him hurt. The accuracy just keeps rearing its head. I had somebody tweeting at me, right, saying, well, his completion percentage is 62% today. It's like, are you watching the ball game, man? Like, seriously. So he throws behind Christian Watson, gets him hurt. The very next play, or maybe 2 plays later, throws up into double coverage. And I know the safety made a good play, but still underthrown to Samori Toure. I don't understand. Samori Toure's got inside release, right? Why in the world you're throwing it up as a jump ball when someone's on the inside of the defender makes no sense to me whatsoever. Down the seam, laid across the middle. I got to agree with Josh, man. I don't think he's the guy. I mean, we're getting to that point. But again, Godsmack, thank you so much for the super chat, buddy. Very well said there. Well, ain't here to blame anymore. But what's that, Jacob?
That's one thing. It was one quote that got me. I don't remember where I saw it. Like you, I was watching multiple different streams and multiple different social medias. I'm in like 13 different chats. Somebody said Matt LaFleur is consistently inconsistent, and I was like, oh yeah. That's it exactly. He's consistently inconsistent with his play calls, with his like scheme. The fact that we apparently, as a Green Bay Packers franchise underneath Matt LaFleur, we're incapable of traveling. If we even head west in any direction slightly over the Mississippi, we fall apart. We don't even know how to feed ourselves. We don't know how to dress ourselves. I can't even believe that they made it to the freaking field. It seems like we're just inept. I don't understand. And people say like it's not coaching. To me, I'm sorry, that's a stupid argument. Are we supposed to just not have to coach NFL players? You're saying that like that once they get out of college, they're a final finished product. That's not how it works. That's not how anybody works. Like when I hear people being like, "So you're telling me I need to coach up my my professional players?" Yeah, you're a coach. They're the player. It's literally in the freaking title. Like it's the whole point of progression from a guy that's a 1-year, rookie to a 2 or 3. That's why they become veterans, because they've learned the game, because you've taught it to them.
I'll tell you the game for me, though, was when Jerry Judy's cocky So
The little
he
Dion
got
run.
get the little PP touch. You know what I'm saying? I really enjoyed that. I don't know about you, Tim. It couldn't happen to a better person. But Tim, initial thoughts, takeaways, man. You've been sitting over like, how did I get stuck talking this game with these two knuckleheads?
I'm over here trying to think of something positive to say. I didn't get blackout hammered drunk watching this game. There's
That's not positive.
there's a positive note, I guess. I don't know, guys. Just it certainly shakes your confidence in your team, especially someone like me who was pretty high on a lot of these guys. And the blame can go across the board pretty evenly. Is it scheme? Is it execution? Yeah. Yeah, it's both of those things. I don't think, LaFleur's doing Jordan Love any favors with some of these play calls. And I don't think Jordan Love's doing himself any of these favors on looking past checkdowns and swings. He hit a couple today. And if you noticed, every time he threw it, it was like 8 yards, 10 yards, positive momentum. And then every time he didn't throw it, it was disaster.
Did you see A.J. Dillon on that long bomb to the freaking
wide open.
A.J. Dillon, wide open, 10, 20 yards, easy. Get us.
I usually don't like to comment on this stuff. I like to go back and watch it because there might be something I missed. But at the first glance, it was like, why did you throw that?
Wide open.
The thing that makes it frustrating, I think, for most people is just knowing that, he's not a rookie. Year 4, man, you've been drafted and developed for 3.5 years.
Right.
We're looking to see progression throughout the season, and we've seen regression in a lot of senses when it comes to him. I, on the other hand, am not ready to throw in a towel. You can call me a optimist to a fault, but the goal was that we need to know by the end of this year, is he the guy or not? And I think it would be a disservice to ourselves in week 6 to say, or week 7 here to say that, he's not the guy unequivocally. He doesn't look like the guy right now. I'll tell you that. I agree. But I'm not willing to just, start going nuclear here and putting Clifford in and calling up Magoo and all of this nonsense. So I think we have to just kind of take a deep breath. Yeah, we need to kind of take a deep breath here. Because, Clayton, you alluded to this the other day, as if just magically snapping your fingers and throwing some other kid in there at quarterback is going to just fix everything. So, I think we got to lay off our defense a little bit. Got to stick up for my defense today. I don't think they played phenomenal, but again, didn't give up a lot of points. If we had help throughout the game from our offense, we'd have been in a lot better shape.
Yeah. Go ahead, Jake.
Tim, what the heck were we arguing about let me see if I can pull it up. Remember, we were going to pull it up.
We don't argue, Jacob. We have debates.
Talk passionately.
We talk passionately.
Oh, I remember what it was. It was the ejection targeted hit from the safety onto who was it? What was the receiver?
Musgrave.
Oh yeah, Musgrave. Okay.
Yeah. Kareem Jackson, right? Kareem Jackson, I think it was.
I believe so. So the guy apparently has a knack for being or a history specifically this year of kind of laying some dirty hits. Immediately when I saw him throw the hit, I sent a text out and I said, I don't agree with the penalty. And like 2 seconds later, Tim was like, get this guy out of here.
That's what I love about the chats. There's just enough delay that we all get exposed with our real opinions rather than going, I don't want to disagree with him. It's like they all hit at the same time and they could not be more different most of the time. But
after I actually looked at it, so I'm one of those guys where I like the 90s football, or I should say pre-2000s football, where guys like Ed Reed and John Lynch were glorified for making those hits, where you could do a crack block, where you could do a blindside block, because that's what is football to me. You know what I mean? So in the same breath, I hear the same type of people saying this league is getting too soft. We need to, like, why are we putting so much, buffer on these guys? And in the same time, we see stuff like that, where to me, I don't know what the guy could have done different. He didn't hit him in the head. You say he's targeting.
He could have played.
Should have waited. He should have made him make oh, you got the ball, buddy? Okay, now I can hit ya. Like, to me, I don't know. I don't know how you make that designation.
Watch the replay and tell me if you think that guy saw what he was hitting.
Yeah.
That's my point, though.
That's my point. You have to keep your head up and see what you're hitting. And he didn't do that. And it's the defenseless receiver is the issue. It's not a helmet to helmet or leading with the helmet. It's he's not looking at what he's hitting. And he's hitting high on a defenseless receiver. That was the rule change, I believe, this year. Was it this year or last year that they?
Well, so that's what I was going to ask. So now they have now you can't hit high, but you also can't hit low if you're blocking, right? So it's like they just keep taking stuff away as far as like, so you can't be reactionary is basically like you're telling us. You can't be reactionary because there's no way that a guy at that level going that fast is going to be like, oh my gosh, he's coming at me. I need to hit 6 inches lower than I'm hitting. You know what I'm saying? Like he's reacting. He's making the play. My opinion.
Go ahead, Jake. I'm sorry.
No, sorry. My opinion is just that let the guys play. It didn't look like he tried to hurt the guy. I that was my opinion. So I definitely wouldn't have ejected him. Give him the unsportsmanlike for sure. Put one of the two. I don't think that he didn't do anything else. I don't know. I don't think he should have been ejected. But I like to lead with my head when I was playing. I used to do the blind side block a lot.
Well, this all makes sense now. Now, for me, man, it's I'm kind of in the middle. You know, like I said before, when they started putting all these helmet-to-helmet rules in place and defenseless receiver and everything, I was the guy going, they're ruining the game. That was me. And like I said, I started doing my own research and stuff. Much like Aaron Rodgers, I did my own research and
do your own research, Clayton.
And so seen concussion and started really understanding what was going on, what happened with Junior Seau, what happened with I can never pronounce his name, but it was another offensive lineman for the Steelers that played in the late 80s, early 90s that drove head on into traffic to kill himself because he was facing the same type of thing. So I'm kind of on the other side of the extreme, right? And I would probably side with Tim in this particular one because when I look at that play, I still have a little bit of sympathy for the defender because it's like, okay, you can't hit them low, you can't hit them high. Where do you hit them? Okay, you got to hit them perfectly in the chest where you can't lead with your helmet, so you got to hit with your shoulder. So you're like, you know, there's no way that I could play defense. I know that because you're still going to have those penalties happen regardless. With that being said, I think he was trying to put the crown of the helmet right on his ear hole and hurt him. That's what I think. And again, there was a time in my life, Jacob, where I was like, that's football, baby. Look at that hit, right?
Yeah, it was part of the game.
Yeah.
It used to be part of the game, and they've been trying to get this out of the game.
Remember the ESPN like 10 years ago? You got jacked up.
Right.
That was the whole segment, bro. Like, and so that's what I grew up on. Like, and so I don't understand. Again, like, I think who was it here? Mike. Oh, of course it's Mike. Yeah, Mike's always got my back. I love you, Mike. But I don't know, man. I just feel like if you're out there, there's a reason. When you take a high risk job, like it's a reason why I don't go work on freaking high rise water towers. You know what I mean? They pay like $200 an hour because there's a risk that you might fall and die to your death. There's a reason I don't run around chasing down 4'4", 260 linebackers because I'll probably die. So like if you're going to get paid $20 million to play a game, play 17 games a year, you might get hurt. I'm sorry. Like that's the risk you take. I
understand. I understand what you're saying. I understand both arguments. Like I said, I tend to lean now towards protect the players as much as you can. That's just me personally. But I'm getting old now and soft as butter, as Mike says here. But United Bates, thank you for the super chat. He says, morale is the most important thing to achieve as a leader. I'm just not seeing that fire across the board. You know, we were talking about, I think it was you and I, Tim, right before Jacob hopped on. Watching LaFleur in that first half on the sideline, he looked like a little kid that got his Game Boy taken away. Like he was just, why is this happening? And it's like, bro, you're in the heat of battle, right? You're in the moment. You're the guy that everyone else looks to be calm and have the answer. And you're stomping around like a freaking 6-year-old, right? And yes, there were mistakes being made. Absolutely. There were also mistakes being made by you, which I've never seen Matt only at the presser when he's in front of everybody else, you know, but on the sideline, I've never got the vibe like, he knows he screwed up there. It's always somebody else. It's something else. It's why is this happening? I don't know, man. I'm growing tired of LaFleur real quick. And I used to be one of his biggest fans. It's just at the same time, I'm trying to be fair to Matt LaFleur because he's put in a crappy spot. You know, you pull a 4-time MVP Hall of Fame quarterback and say, no, we don't want him. Matt didn't say that. Matt wanted him, just like Russ Ball did. We've talked about it. They take him and trade him, right? And then you get even younger on this roster, and then you throw him out there. By the way Matt's acting, it feels like Matt's coaching for his job this year. And to me, that isn't fair. It isn't, because this team, it's not ready to compete, right? We had our questions, we had our doubts coming out. There were some that was saying, this is a great roster. And I'm going, if they were a great roster, how did they miss the playoffs with a Hall of Fame quarterback last year? And you know, I don't understand that logic. I don't. But United Bates, I completely agree about the morale, man. Thank you for the super chat. Let's see here. We got Mike Hebring. This one Jacob was talking about. He said, I'm with Jacob. The NFL is soft as butter. Again, I tend to lean toward the player safety side. But, man, there was a time where you guys sound just like me. I was saying the same thing, right? And it's like I said, I have a little bit of sympathy for the defender, because what are they supposed to do? Now you're not allowed to sack the quarterback below the knee, and it's like you can't launch yourself at his head, right? You can't
fall on him.
You can't hit him with your chest and land on him. Yeah. You can't dive at his knee. Now they're talking about doing that whole hip drop tackle and banning it. It's like, man. So I understand. I get it. It's not.
You ever seen the meme of the? It was last year I saw it. It was after one of the. I think it was maybe one of the Pat Mahomes games or whatever. And it's like how to sack a quarterback in the NFL. And it showed like two guys running, and one of them was holding the pillow, and the other guy's like taking his feet down, and they slowly, gently let him down onto a pillow, and they're like, sack. All right.
Yeah. It's crazy.
You know, if they really cared so much, then just blow the damn play dead. That's how I feel.
Yeah.
The guy's about to get blown up. I mean, if your ball carrier gets stood up on a run, you blow the whistle. I mean, just blow it dead, and then see how everyone magically just stops. You know, I understand what you guys are saying. You're full-grown man, 6'5", 245 pounds, running full speed. How do you just stop, or how do you not play the ball? You can hit a guy high playing the ball, you know, hands up. So, you know, these officials need to do a better job of using their scrutiny in these situations. So I agree with the sentiment that the game is getting soft, and that, you know, defenders have their hands tied, which is why, you know, a lot of these younger players are being trained to be smarter and use your feet, and to be in those positions to make plays, because, yeah, you can't recover and just pop a guy anymore. You know, the days of Palomalu coming across the middle and skull crushing Greg Jennings in the end zone with no penalty, those days are over. They're over. I mean, whether we like it or not, they're over. And you're never going to make a dangerous game safe, but I think you can make it less dangerous, if that makes any sense. I think
it does. Yeah.
Try and get some of this stuff out of the game. And hopefully make it a little less dangerous. But yeah, these guys are playing a dangerous game, man. You're not going to make it safe. Nobody's going to be safe playing full contact football. That's a fact. That's undisputable right there for sure.
Right. We got Coach LaFleur at the podium. Let's see if we can get a little bit of this sound real quick, guys. I'm going to do my best. Hopefully you can hear it okay. Here we go.
Goes to them right away anyways, and there's no chance for it. Is that part of the scheme? Is that what he's supposed to do? I mean, that was predetermined.
Give it just a second. Let him finish. He's telling a story.
No, some are. I mean, I think the one you're talking about to Rome, the third down, that was in the second half, I believe, when we kicked the field goal on the first possession of the second half. You're confusing me there, Spoon. I think I'm losing my mind.
I do too.
Which I probably am, but Jesus. I think that on that play it was actually a screen, okay, and we did have Aaron Jones open on that. They did a good job on the front side, but we gave him an option and said yes, no. If he feels like he's got the matchup there, he can take it. And we've had some success with that play. It was the same play that we ran at the end of the New Orleans game, and him and Rome connected on it. So, you know, I don't fault him for that decision. And it's just one of those things that, you know, anytime things don't work out in this league, everything gets magnified, right? That's just the way it is. Every play is going to get dissected and just nitpicked apart. And that's the world we live in. And you better be thick-skinned, and you better be tough-minded, and just take it. And all you can do is try to learn from every situation. And there's things that I know I can do as a coach to be better for him in those moments. And, So I've got to be better.
Matt, what happened on the one in the first half where Christian and Jaden were right on top of each other on the third down? And when do these growing pains for a young offense become just inexcusable mistakes?
They're always inexcusable. That's why we practice and we put a lot of work into the practice. And, you can't have mistakes, especially you're talking third down, 2 minute and a half, 2 minute in the game. When you do, you get beat, and that's tough. And, we put a lot on Christian's plate. We move him all over the place. We have him play multiple positions because we know he's capable of handling that. And, no player is going to be perfect in a game, and there's mistakes happen. It's just, you got to try to avoid them at all costs, especially in those critical situations. It was really the same play in the second half that we ran. We hit Reed on that out route. So it was unfortunate, and that's part of it. And,
All right, so what you caught there, I don't know if you guys caught it or not, if I understood correctly. He's saying Christian Watson was the reason that there was two receivers in the same area, and then they ran that route later, and Jaden Reed ran it correctly. So, again, enough blame to go around, right? ROK Beast with the super chat. Thank you, buddy. He said, I was all for Love, but over the last few games and MLF. I guess he's talking about Matt LaFleur. I don't know.
Over the last few games and MLF.
Gotcha. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, we're trying to be patient, but the accuracy is the issue, ROK. And the big thing that everybody goes back to, and Ryan talks about all the time, is immediately people's arguments are, well, Josh Allen was inaccurate too, and look at him now. He's got the highest completion percentage in the league. Yeah, and he did that in the course of about 2 years. He fixed the accuracy. Jordan Love has been working with Tom Clements and a pro staff for 4 years now, and his accuracy isn't fixed, right? So I think there's something to definitely worry about there. But thank you, ROK. We appreciate the super chat, man. What's that, Jacob?
One other thing is too is that like what we've seen, what was the red flags for Jordan Love? He gets pressured, he throws up bombs. He gets nervous, he just starts chucking prayers. He doesn't trust his, this and that, and that's what we're watching right now. We're seeing that happen. It's like you guys know that. Like again, I've been on the Love train since he got in. I thought that he was very serviceable as a quarterback. What I'm seeing is I don't see any progression. I think somebody just commented here, which it makes a lot of sense. Michael Howard, he goes, I've had my fill with this team for the year. I don't see any progress. They can't stay healthy. They have zero identity, poorly coached, and they just look absolutely lost out there on the football field. I'll add to that again, the inability to travel on the road. That to me is a coach thing. It's somewhere in there. The guys, I don't know, man. I'm trying to stay positive. We looked good. Things were good.
Had another good third quarter, didn't we?
A good third quarter, yeah.
Josh Martin, thank you for the super chat, buddy. He said, "Who's ready for Hard Knocks next year?" I'll tell you this.
Oh boy.
Hey, play that fart sample again. play that burp, or is that the burp? Play the. There you go. That's how I feel about that.
Yeah. Tim said we ain't gonna let you slide, Joe.
Oh, we're gonna give him some.
Yeah. Let's stick a bunch of cameras in front of these young kids. That'll have a positive impact on our season.
Work for the Lions.
Tim, man. Tim.
I don't think Hard Knocks is going to be attributed to any success that Detroit might have, since they still haven't had any yet, technically.
So, Tim, you're anti-Hard Knocks. Am I understanding correctly?
I'm extra distractions to a young football team for the entertainment of the general public. I'm a passionate Packer fan. I always have been. I fan with my heart first. I'm trying to get better at fanning with my brain a little bit more as I get older. But I could care less about
some guy
Hard Knocks
getting his nose pierced.
streaming ratings for a streaming service. I don't care. I care about my team getting better and winning games, and I don't see how that's going to be a positive at all. And honestly, I think the Packers would fight it tooth and nail as an organization. They're not. Yeah. We're not exactly known for welcoming the cameras in a lot here.
Actually, that's true. Yeah, why would they do that? They don't even let us watch.
They can force them to. The rule is if you miss the playoffs 2 years in a row, then the league can force any team that misses the playoffs 2 years in a row. They can force them to do Hard Knocks.
Are you serious?
Swear, yeah. That's
Yeah.
why the Jets got forced to do it. The Jets
gives you an insight as to what's truly important in the executive branch of the National Football League, guys. When you see arrangements like that, that I don't know.
I'm gonna be real for a minute. If Hard Knocks is in Green Bay, I'm watching every damn minute, multiple times. I ain't gonna lie.
It's gonna be like when I lied to all my friends.
It's
like when I lied to my friends and I said I didn't watch the Jersey Shore. I watched it. Watched it alone.
I didn't watch Steel Magnolias with Mandy. 500. All right. Thank you so much, Josh. We appreciate the super chat, buddy. Godsmack AR69 says, for me, the question shouldn't be, is Jordan Love the guy? The question should be, is Matt LaFleur the guy? Good Lord, I miss Mike Holmgren. Yeah. You know what's crazy? Like when you kind of climb back into history, and we are coming on history here, guys, just so you know, a statistic that was read off during the broadcast. This is the first time the Packers have been 2-4 since 2006. Okay. That was Mike McCarthy's first or second year with the Packers. Now we've seen what happened the following year, right? But it took Mike a year or two to kind of get his guys in place. A little bit different scenario here with LaFleur having had success, and now staff seems to be on the decline, right? And again, I don't think Goody did him any favors for sure. But yeah, what I was going to say though is, people forget Mike Holmgren got ran out of Green Bay too. Like, think about that. If you go all the way back to Curly, let's do a quick history segment here. Curly Lambeau wanted to own the Packers. If anybody ever deserved the right to own the Packers, it was Curly Lambeau. And I'm glad that it didn't happen. But he was trying to have people on the board be in favor and get local businessmen to go in and actually buy the Packers from the city, right? And essentially become the majority owner of the Green Bay Packers. They told him no, and they ran him out, and he went and coached in Chicago, right? Vince Lombardi. Vince Lombardi left. People forget that. Vince Lombardi left. He became general manager 1 year of the Packers after stepping down as head coach, and then he goes on to Washington because they gave him part ownership, something that obviously would never happen in Green Bay. And then you fast forward to Mike Holmgren. Mike Holmgren wanted to be the general manager when Ron Wolf was going to step down, right? And they said, no, you're not going to be the general manager. So he left and went to Seattle, and the next year they made Mike Sherman head coach, general manager. Right.
And Seattle made Holmgren the head coach and general manager. Yep. And we all know how that turned out. Mm-hmm. So that didn't work out so hot for Seattle.
Yeah, they made it to trying to think. They made it to a Super Bowl, didn't they? Pretty sure they made it to a Super Bowl.
Not while he was the head coach.
No,
that was Pete Carroll when they were in the Super Bowl, wasn't it?
That's true, yeah.
I'm trying to think. I thought Matt Hasselbeck might have played in the Super Bowl. He definitely made the playoffs. I'd like to see Holmgren's record. I may have to look that up and see what Holmgren's record was with Seattle. But nonetheless, that happened. Mike McCarthy wins the Super Bowl. Has 2 down years, right? One of which Aaron was hurt, and you fire him. And now Matt LaFleur. It's just wild to kind of go back in history and look at how things have unfolded. But 2 years ago, it's Matt LaFleur's the darling, right? And we were talking about his win percentage last night. We were just talking about it, weren't we, Tim? We're talking about how, he's right there in the top 10 in win percentage.
I think that might be the problem, though, because we're seeing a lot of these play calls from 2 years ago and 3 years ago.
Absolutely.
And,
I think you're right.
You talk about McCarthy getting the boot. A lot of that there were a lot of murmurings about his offense getting stale. And there was issues, with the offense and the play calling. We had Aaron was even going rogue the last couple of games in that last season. So I don't know. Is that what's happening now? Because the offense looks kind of stale to me. It looks like sluggish, stale. Mm-hmm. There's not a defined objective, an approach as to what we're doing.
See,
let's go to QB1.
Yeah, we got QB1 here. Let's see what he has to say.
Of his pre-snap stuff, a couple false starts. I think we just got to have more urgency to start the game. And we got to find a way to just put up points. We just got to find a way to be better, honestly.
The third down in the red zone in the third quarter, what goes into the decision to go for the fade instead of throwing to the screen side? What do you see that makes you make that throw?
Yeah, no, I think, we had a one-on-one shot with Romeo. We've had some success throwing some fades. And, that's kind of where I went. the past couple screens we ran, it didn't really, the D line kind of played out of it. I saw a one-on-one shot to Rome, and I was going to take that.
You said during the offseason you knew going into this year, not everything's going to be perfect. There's going to be some up and downs. This is obviously a down 3-game losing streak. Where's the frustration level for you right now?
Yeah, I mean, we all know it's ups and downs, but I think everyone's very frustrated. We got to find a way to win. Got to find a way to win these games. We've been put in this position multiple times where it comes down to the offense. Have to go win the game, and we have not capitalized on that. So we got to find a way that just that margin for error, and we're not capitalizing on these end of game situations. And I think the situation is going to keep coming, keep being there until we find a way to capitalize and go win.
What do you think you haven't been able to capitalize when there has been a few of these situations? What do you think's been missing to change the outcome?
Just, I think critical errors in these situations. It's on everybody. I think not starting the game fast, not putting up points quickly is, it comes back to bite us in the end. We try and do everything we can to fight and claw, and I think everyone does that. There's the effort is always there. Everybody's fighting, everybody's training, but like I said, not putting up points in the first half, it's coming back to bite us. So.
All right, that was QB1 there, and he was talking about that same play that Matt LaFleur and everybody was talking about, with the screen, and he chose to go to the fade side to Romeo Dobbs as opposed to the screen. I don't even remember that play, to be honest with you. Everything was just one big fogged up mess. I didn't say a bad word. I said fog there, okay? Carly Ray, we're going to go to you next, but first I do want to hit on this super chat real quick from Mike Hebring. He said, coaching is more than scheme, much more. Absolutely it is. Absolutely. But when you're not getting coached up and the scheme is flawed, that's
one quick point.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Thank you, Mike, for the super chat, boy. Appreciate it.
Carly, by the way, I don't owe you money. I don't think that you beat me. Did you?
I sure did beat you.
Come on now. Stop it. I just checked my messages and I was like, oh, man.
Carly, what's on your mind? Oh, I'm sorry, Jake. You have something else, buddy?
Real quick, and then obviously we'll go to Carly. It's just we just talked about how they're like, oh, it's so hard that we get things. We don't have a chance to get things going. We talked about this last week. Could maybe scripting the plays for the first 15 to 20 plays, as the most West Coast offenses have done in the history of the West Coast offense.
Maybe we script ideas, Jacob. Calm down.
Just saying, man. All right, Carly, let's go.
Carly Ray, what you got?
She's muted. You muted her.
I didn't mute her. I didn't mute anybody.
Muted. It shows that she's muted.
Yeah, it won't let me unmute her. Carly, if you can hear us, unmute.
Mute yourself.
She's like, I don't want to talk to y'all. It made me mad. All right, let's go to the super chat real quick while she figures that out. Godsmack AR69 said, Mike Holmgren went to a Super Bowl with Seattle against Pittsburgh. The refs screwed Seattle. Holmgren was the man. LaFleur rode the Rodgers gravy train. I was thinking
you're right, Clayton. That was Hasselbeck.
I was thinking they went to a Super Bowl. They never did, obviously get over the hump, but they had. I mean, I'm pretty sure his winning percentage was decent there, but nothing like the success he had in Green Bay. Obviously, let's try Carly Ray one more time. Carly, can you hear us?
I can. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, we got you. What's going on?
So one thing I was thinking about that is still sort of encouraging is I remember when I was really first getting into watching football, Aaron Rodgers, he obviously Hall of Famer, played amazing, but there were games that we lost in really frustrating ways. There were games that we lost by just one score. There were games when we wanted Rodgers to come in clutch at the end, and sometimes he made it and sometimes he didn't. And so just remembering that we didn't win every game, with a blowout when he was on the roster, makes me feel a little bit better about Love's chances.
Gotcha. What do you think, Jacob?
Yeah, but it's just to me that when I look at the first, I tried to convince myself that we're okay. Everything's okay. It's like that meme where you're sitting next to the burning house. Everything's fine. Everything's fine.
This is fine.
This is fine. I looked at because everybody likes to show that stat. I believe it was like Favre, Rodgers, and Love were both like 2 and 3 or something like that going into the career. But specifically, if you look at Rodgers, I think he had like 300-yard passing games in those losing efforts, and a bunch of other like kind of really like clear signals that this guy's got something. With Love, I think that honestly, I'm getting more and more unimpressed with him as he goes on, which I think that he really is underutilizing his running ability. I think that he needs to maybe use that a little bit more. It's weird. It seems that it's either feast or famine. He's either throwing a 5-yard check down or he's just chucking it down the field, 60 yards. They showed a stat that he had like the longest or the highest, I think, average pass completion rate, and also like the average longest throw kind of thing. You know what I mean? So it's like he's chucking the ball down the field. He's just not accurate. So
he's not throwing in rhythm either. We haven't really
rhythm at all.
Yeah.
Exactly.
That's the big thing, Tim. You're spot on there, man. Everything is late, dude. It's late. It's in some cases it feels like he's going from read 1 to 3 back to 2, and it's like, and again, I'm not in the meeting room. I don't, they may be playing half, right? Where they're going, okay, if half the field shows this coverage, this is your first read. If this half shows this coverage, then this is your first read. We don't know. We're not in there, but it just looks off, man. It looks way off. And the only time that the offense seems to have any rhythm is when they're in 11 personnel and you got a little bit of separation there between the splits and the wide receivers. But Carly Ray, what else you got? What else stood out to you? I'm not sure if you had time to chart the game or what, but what do you think was the big thing? If someone said, hey, I didn't get a chance to watch the game, what was the deciding factor? How would you define this game, I guess, is the best way to ask you.
I'm going to be real honest. I was cooking dinner for 3 kids and trying to feed them and do all this while watching the game. So
that's depressing right there. You're trying to be super mom and watching the team just get boat raced. That's got to be tough.
Yeah, I was super excited when they, went up right near there in the fourth quarter, and it was 17-16 or so, when they just up by 1, and I was so excited. I was like screaming and stuff, and my daughter comes running. She's like, Mom, what's going on? And I was like, they're winning. And she's like, but they're going to lose, right? And I was like, who are you? You're not my daughter. You can sleep in the shed now. But nah.
Little sling blade. Dig you a hole out. I dug me a hole out to lay down in back there.
I made some mustard biscuits.
Out of control. We got child services calling this program next, man. We got You got anything else for us, Carly?
Just overall big scheme stuff. I was thinking, I really do think Matt LaFleur, I'm not a head coach, but listening to what people say and seeing the lack of energy and how everyone was so hyped in the preseason and it seemed like the team as a whole was working together, and seeing that be lost over the course of the season or beginning to be, I do think that's a coaching thing. And if some people say, we need to be asking, not if Love is the man, but if Matt's the man. But if you look at the NFL as a whole, when you have people that have hopes of dynasty coaches, players come and they go. They rotate through them all the time. And I just don't see them letting a head coach go before letting a quarterback go, because there are always more of them.
Gotcha. All good points,
especially in the coming draft, right? Quarterback heavy draft coming up.
Yeah,
right.
Definitely. The biggest issue I have, and Carly, thank you so much for calling. We really appreciate it. All great points as always. The biggest thing for me are these condensed sets. Like I look at some of the situations they're put in where everything is just so tight, right? And the reason it took off, the reason it was so successful in the past was because teams weren't used to outside zone run. The league is very cyclical. And when that came back around, that was the way you hit the explosive play in the run game, right? The goal is to hit explosives through the pass and the run. And that was the way to do it. Well, now the league has kind of caught on to that. So what you would do is you would run condensed sets and you would crack in with the nasty split on an end running outside, right? So that's how you would get the hat count outside. And of course, you could use your cutbacks. And when defenses would try to get cute, you could kind of manipulate what they were over pursuing on. But with that being said, the league has caught on to it, right? Caught on to it big time. And now you're using these condensed sets to pass out of. And I'm telling you, man, if I'm a defensive coordinator and you said, all right, Clayton, you can choose one or the other that you would rather face. Would you rather face a passing game out of a condensed set with nasty splits, or would you rather face Baylor splits? I'm going nasty all day long. Like, are you kidding me? I don't want to have to cover every single inch of the field if I don't have to. And that's kind of the position we've got ourselves into. You're not seeing much wide zone anymore, right? So we're still showing the condensed set. So it's like you're playing to the least effective aspect of those close splits, which is trying to pass out of the close splits, if that makes sense. So, all right, let's go to this super chat real quick. Carly, you got anything else? I'm sorry. I see you're still in here. That might be it. All right, she's probably back to being super mom, so we'll let her go. We got Drew with the super chat said, the D is the problem. Denver is a terrible team, and we can't stop anybody between the 20s. Between the 20s? What is the – did they give points out for between the 20s? Did I miss that? They gave up 4 scores on 9 drives and take up all the resources. Valentine one-on-one with Sutton. Great idea. All right, so I'll take this one first. If the D's the problem, how come we were only losing 9-0 at halftime? Like, in what world is it a failure that you give up 9 points in one half of football? And on top of that, you stop them in the red zone 3 times. 3 times. You literally stop them from getting in the end zone, right? On top of that, the fact that your defense or your offense literally gave the ball back to the opposing team over and over and over. Like, the defense was on the field. I'd love to see the time of possession for the first half. I bet it's crazy. But, yeah, I respectfully disagree, Drew. I don't see how you can blame the defense. Now, missed tackles, absolutely. I think there was 6 missed tackles I counted halfway through the second quarter. We already had 6 missed tackles. That was a big issue. And, yeah, as far as let's talk about Valentine one-on-one with Sutton. You know why he was one-on-one with Sutton? Anybody want to answer that?
Because you got your
no jaws there, bro.
Yeah.
You got your man-to-man coverage you guys want so bad.
Everybody been screaming. This is so stupid that they play this quarters zone match coverage.
So we go man press and get lit up for a first down.
And again, why do you not go man press? Because it's more vulnerable to explosives. Why are explosives important? Anytime you hit a play 20 yards or more, an explosive play, it increases the offense's chance of scoring points on that drive by 3 times the amount. It triples your chance.
Unless you're the Packers offense.
Yeah, exactly.
We've had some explosive plays that turned into nothing burgers all year.
So if we want man coverage, right, then how do you keep Valentine from playing one-on-one with Sutton? You're saying put Rasul Douglas on Sutton? So now you're going man coverage. Rasul is going to follow Sutton the entire game because you can't play zone and not have Sutton or not have Valentine on Sutton because you don't dictate where they line up at, right? And the reason being is because if he lines up on the boundary and now Rasul's got to play the right boundary, right, then that means Valentine has got to play the opposite side of the field, which, by the way, is probably not his dominant eye. A lot of people don't understand the dominant eye effect of a cornerback playing the boundary. Okay, what if he lines up in the slot? So now you want Rasul in the slot, right? And now he's going to be playing curl to flat coverage depending on the zone match principles, right? So he's not actually covering Sutton. He's just appearing to cover Sutton. That's not how defense works. They didn't come into this game and go, all right, look, guys, here's the game plan. Valentine, you're going to cover Sutton all game long. It doesn't work like that. It don't. Now, if you're playing man coverage the entire game, absolutely. You can do that. You can say, Sewell, you're covering Sutton the entire game. We're going to stay in man coverage the entire game. And then on top of that, when you're in man coverage, all of these somebody tagged me and was like, what about this run defense, Clayton? Like, yeah, this is man coverage, my friend. When a corner and a safety or a linebacker has to focus on either playing press man on the boundary or catch man inside, and they have to turn their back, flip their hips, you think they're more vulnerable to the run or less vulnerable? That's one of the negative aspects of man coverage. The positive is you can match a specific corner up on a wide receiver, right? Or a specific safety up on a tight end or a linebacker on a tight end, however you want to look at it, right? That's the positive of it. The negative is explosive play opportunities to other receivers, and you're more vulnerable in the run game. So there's no perfect fix to it. Now, as far as Valentine getting beat by Sutton, why was Valentine on the field with Sutton? Jair Alexander wasn't healthy, right?
Exactly.
What's the other option? I'm genuinely asking. So
it's not Eric Stokes Jr.
Yeah.
So
there you go. And that's the thing too. Like I think they said at one point we were missing. I get it wrote down here. 4 starters on the defense, and that was before Wyatt went out. I think.
Yep.
Yeah. Yep.
Can I pose a question quick?
Yeah, absolutely, bud.
While we're throwing shade and all this kind of stuff, who is to blame, or is there some sort of accountability? We just basically came off a 2-week bye, right?
Mm-hmm.
We had a ridiculous amount of time. We played a Thursday night game, went into a bye, came in playing a late game on Sunday. How did more people, I shouldn't say more, but how are there, something's going on there. Something's going on in the training room. These guys are not ready to play. How does Jair all of a sudden just tweak a back? How do guys go in to a game with an injury designation like Elton Jenkins all of a sudden was questioning, like, not going to play? Like, we had a bunch of these. Who are training these guys? Again, we're talking about being butter soft. What are we doing? I heard Matt LaFleur in an offseason, in one of the interviews during the bye week where he talked about how Tucker Kraft was there and he had to tell Tucker Kraft to go home, but Tucker Kraft didn't see Matt LaFleur there until the end of the week. Tucker Kraft was there for the first half of the bye week. Matt LaFleur apparently left for 3, 4, 5 days because he deserved a few days off, I guess, after this performance or the performance that he's put on the field. I don't understand the hubris right now of this team. Like you talked about, oh, we're good on paper. We're not good on the field. Put in the effort. I'm just getting really annoyed with the excuses.
The injuries are tough, man. They are. Listen, it happens all across the league, Jacob. It's just when you follow a specific team more than the others, it seems more magnified. But I'll tell you this, man. I follow the Patriots pretty close, and they're dealing with injuries too. It's rare that they just randomly pop up like this. It's crazy. Like, it's just, again, and, I get frustrated with Jair Alexander because he, on a week where he's injured and can't play, he's in there running his mouth saying that the offense needs to do better and put me on offense. He made that comment, and it's like, how about you just get your ass on the field, bro? Let's start with that. Why don't we do that? And that's what I was saying about a culture issue, man. You got A.J. Dillon after the game, the loss to the Raiders, put a social media post up where it was him in his attire coming into the game, right? And a picture of him scoring the touchdown. He put, "I'm all in." It's like, bro, your team just lost. Your team just lost the game. And you put a social media post up about you and that you're all in. And it's like, what, I don't understand it, man. There was another social media post. It was Devondre Campbell. That's right. Devondre Campbell did another social media post where he said, they've been trying to tell me for years and they don't, something about I'm not listening. And I'm like, who was that meant for? Like, what do we, and it was pictures of him walking in his pregame attire. And it's like, it's just an ugly look, man. I'm not telling people how to act or, be yourself. I got you. Do you as the youngins say, but it seems like there's a culture issue, Tim. I don't know, man. What do you think?
I think it's a young team, and I think it's tough to wrangle in a lot of that extracurricular crap that can surround a locker room. Like I said, I'm a fan of distraction-free preparation, hyper focus, and I don't see that. I don't think we've seen a team walk out of that tunnel ready to play in well over a month. And a lot of the times we have seen it. The Detroit game is a great example. There was a lot of piss and vinegar and fire coming out early. We get a big play. We get a pick from Rudy Ford, get first and goal inside the 5, and we crap the bed and suck the energy out, and we continue to crap the bed. And we've been crapping the bed since. So, maybe it is a culture issue. I don't know if it's, or, what is the priority right now in this locker room? Because I'll tell you, the priority should be to get better and just stick with something reasonable. You're not going to fix this. Clayton, you made a great comment. Jordan Love was trying to get it all on one play there at the end. Yep. You're not going to fix this season in one game. You're not going to do it in 1 week of practice. You have to do this steadily, and we want to see improvement. Start with a real tangible goal. Can we get less crappy than we have been? And I just don't know where the focus is there. I see a lot of good guys on that team and in that locker room, but I just don't quite see them fully clicked and ready with a common goal to go out there and accomplish something. And that's why we're not accomplishing anything. And we're losing games to teams we should be beating. And we look ahead, going with the rest of the schedule there. Let's be honest, there's no reason for any of us to believe we're going to beat any of these teams because we haven't seen anything to lead us to believe that in recent memory. We have to go back to week 1 or week 3 to see some competitive football from the Packers. So
week 1.
Yeah. So, I mean, I don't know. I like I said, when it's the most difficult to be positive or to look for the positive, that's when it's more the most important for you to do that. So we've got to look within. Finger pointing is great, but we need accountability, and we need people that are willing to step up in this locker room and say enough of this. I'm tired of losing. I talked about this early on, that a team's identity can become loser because you just get so used to like not winning, because that's what happens. And then you start to see guys start caring a little bit more about what's on Instagram and, what I'm wearing on my way to the bus. And
how about this? Farmville.
Yeah. I gotta plant some more corn on my Twitch channel, video game stream nonsense. That's what happens when you're not focused and you're not winning. You start to get this identity of just, failure. And that's not how we roll in Green Bay. And, I don't know if maybe LaFleur's not the guy because he's not the guy that's able to be that iron fist when we need it.
Tim,
we either get aw shucks Matt LaFleur, like Jacob said, or we get the petulant child, someone took away my toy, Matt LaFleur. And it's like, why don't we get, a little bit of, I'd like to see a little Belichick in that guy, honestly. A little less tolerance for BS.
Can I interject one comment that completely iterates what you just said there? Dale Aarons says, understand the head coach determines the team's conditioning, the practice schedule, the players that start, hitting in practice, training fundamentals, and calling the plays. The problem is right in front of our face.
There you go.
That's that's my opinion. I don't know. Maybe you guys disagree with that. That's where I'm starting to lean towards.
I'm with that, because how do we talk about execution if you're not prepared to execute? If you're in a bad situation, you're ill prepared, you don't have a focus, there's no common goal, you don't have a set defined goal or parameters, of course you're going to fail. Yeah. Of course. And what do we know about leadership, guys? You hear this all the time. It starts at the top. Well, when it comes to football on the field on Sunday, you don't get any higher than Matt LaFleur. So yeah, we do need to start looking there. And I think we're seeing it finally that spotlight's coming off Joe Barry a little, and it's slowly going over to our head coach. But again, finding fault and pointing fingers, figuring out what the problem is, it's only helpful if you do something with it and learn from it and correct it. And we haven't seen that. So I'm waiting. It's going to be a long year, guys. We got a lot of waiting to do before we see some progress. So divisional game coming up. Let's see what happens.
Speaking of waiting, Emilio's been waiting patiently. Emilio, let me get these super chats caught up real quick, buddy, and I'm going to go to you next. I promise. AJJ in the super chat says, AJJ says, to the people saying Goody / LaFleur on the hot seat, Murphy's retiring in April of 2025, so unlikely to fire either until a new press takes over. Yeah, we talked about that the other day, AJJ, on the on the pod. And I completely agree. I don't think there's going to be a change. That's why I was saying, like, if LaFleur gets fired this year, I'll be very, very surprised because, like I said, man, the GM is it's almost like they all sat down and agreed. But you watch LaFleur on the sideline, and it's like he didn't get the memo. You know what I mean? Which is a good thing. You don't want any coach to go out there to lose, but just put in a bad spot. There's no doubt. But thank you for the super chat, man. Let's go to Badger Trio. Thank you for the super chat, Badger. He said the Saints make the field goal. We're 1-5. We are worse than 2-4. It's a very, very valid point, Badger Trio. It is, man. Like we said, we could have been 4-1, right? But we could also be, like you said, now 1-5. There's no doubt about it. CL, thank you for the super chat. He said, isn't the GM accountable? The roster is weak and the quarterback selection is all on him. Do we really trust this GM to pick another first-round quarterback? I'll tell you this, CL. The one thing that is getting kind of overlooked, make no mistake about it, the reason Aaron Rodgers isn't the quarterback in Green Bay is because Goody made that pick. Now, everybody goes, well, you should have the right to make a quarterback pick. I completely agree. I agreed with the pick at the time. Like, hey, the best time to draft quarterbacks when you don't need one. But how he went about it was mind-boggling. Aaron Rodgers was live on the McAfee show, okay? And they were asking him, what do you think you're going to take it? Yeah, we got a couple wide receivers in mind, this and that, because he had been talking to Goody and they had, some conversation or whatever. He said he was caught completely off guard when they drafted Jordan Love. They didn't even reach out to him. Now, some are probably getting mad right now, going, well, they shouldn't have to reach out to him. Okay, I got you. But understand that everyone else across the league, they let their starting quarterback know when they're going to draft a quarterback. That happens, okay? Whether you agree with it or not, that happens. So that was a shot across the bow from Goody. Now, as Packer fans, we were all like, man, what a brilliant move. That lit a fire under Rodgers. Got 2 MVPs. You're right, it did. It also got him the heck out of town. And now Goody's left holding this bag with this quarterback. This was his plan for the future. There's no two ways about it. I understand that's going to make people angry. I got you, right? But you got to call a spade a spade. This is his pick. This is the guy he's seen as the future. This is the guy that it was worth the risk to tick off Rodgers. This was the guy that obviously Matt LaFleur didn't want to go to last year because when Aaron Rodgers came back, you guys heard him almost crying at the presser. Matt LaFleur said, I want him back in every way. And his voice kind of trembled, right? Because I think he was seeing the accuracy issues. It's the only thing I can come up with. Now, you heard me in the offseason say they must feel really good about this quarterback, they being Goody and Mark Murphy, right? Matt LaFleur never sold me on the fact that he was all in on it. You guys heard him at the owners' meeting. He caught hell for it, Jacob. You remember that? The comment he made, we need to curb the enthusiasm. We need to really tone down the expectations, right? And, of course, that made Colin Cowherd go out on his show. And by the way, boys.
Don't say it.
I'm going to say it.
Don't say it.
Colin Cowherd is right at this point. Could change.
No.
Could change, right? Just like his commercial said, no matter how many times I'm right, you're still going to disagree with me. I about said a bad word. All right, let's go one more here, and I'm going back to Emilio. I want to hear him. I know he's probably sauced up from B-dubs. I got to hear what this guy's got to say. But Drew D with the super chat says something positive. This offense looks so much better with Aaron Jones. When he's on the field, you're exactly right, Drew. Aaron Jones he's a beast, man. He's just everything that's right about being a pro football player. Taking the pay cut. Granted, he's still one of the highest paid running backs, but just I love that guy, man. One of my favorite players all time. So you're right. That is a positive, man. But thank you guys all for the super chat. All right, Emilio, let's hear it, man. Keep the language PG-13 here.
Yeah.
I don't know how many daddy sodas you had down at B-Dubs, but we were joking about the waiter, I know, in the chat. What's your thoughts on the game, buddy?
Well, I went from mixed to just straight. So
straight out the bottle.
Yeah. I really think Matt LaFleur is just the way he wants the team to be led is not the way this team needs to be led. I think the way he's trying to have a player-led team, it would be cool if we had a C on a chest, but no one wants to step up and be that. I think that he does get stuck into some of his play calls. I think he needs to focus on one thing. I think he's way too scattershot with his thinking, and it's catching up to him mid-game. Like you were saying, we finally get a good drive, throws in a reverse. Okay, what was that? I mean, we came out of a break and threw a reverse pass. That was cool, but I'm pretty sure that was like the longest downfield pass that we actually completed, and it was a left-handed pass from Wicks. So, I mean, Raheem Mostert seemed like our best back. Aaron Jones had some spark plays, but again, he got probably less playing time than Eric Stokes did as a gunner.
Raheem Mostert?
Or I mean Wilson.
There's that daddy soda.
There it is. Yeah. So, it's frustrating. There was a Bears fan sitting across from me. He goes, "Hey man, yeah, we shouldn't like each other right now." I go, "I can't believe you guys beat the Raiders." He goes, "I know, right? We always lose to the Packers, and then we go out and beat the team the Packers lost to."
What a bad quarterback.
I'd have broke a bottle over his head, dude.
Oh,
that escalated quickly.
Yeah.
Oh man, I'll tell you what, dude. Yeah. So you said Tay Wicks threw that pass, and what hand did you say he threw it with?
Pretty sure it was lefty.
Hey, you got any left-handed footballs?
Keep that one up. I've been waiting all night to use that one.
Drew D says Wicks has the highest passer rating in the game.
Oh my God. That's like saying you're the, well, I can't say that anymore anyway.
Oh,
all right, let's go.
There you go.
Let's go back to the super chat. We got Mike Hebring said the Love pick was more about Rodgers' performance at the time, not to replace him. 12 even acknowledged it since then. Love is by the guy, that's clear. What do you think he's trying to say there? Love is by
not the guy.
Is not the guy. Okay, gotcha. Yeah, he took a swing. He missed, right? But it's a big miss. I'm just saying. Big swing and a miss. But thank you so much, Mike. Appreciate the super chat, buddy. Let's see. Josh Martin, super chat. Goot was talking about scouting quarterbacks at the combine that year. I'm not buying Rodgers didn't know about drafting a quarterback. He does lie a lot. Okay. There we go. Let's get the should I break out the conspiracy music real quick? Let's see here. How about this one? Let's do this one. Let's stay all the way through that. Jake, he's already bobbing and weaving over there. So you're saying that Rodgers did know about them drafting the quarterback, right? Don't you kind of feel like Goody would have came out when they asked him about, because they hammered him with questions about it. Don't you think Goody would have said, no, Rodgers knew, I
mean, I guess I would have assumed that. I think we talked about this. Is it time to pose this question, Clayton?
Oh, here we go. Let's go. Let's get it.
Should we get the big red dog, Sean Clifford?
Oh, we're going look at Tim. Look at Tim's face.
I'm just saying. I know it's gonna make. I'm on a mission to make Tim angry tonight.
I'm gonna get him. The Packers didn't do that already.
Hey, I talked to Tim before we went live, Jacob. You were way ahead of schedule, bro. You're good.
I'm just saying. I'm on a mission to get Tim to punch a hole in the wall like Andy from The Office, and then go, "That was an overreaction."
Off the camp.
Yeah, so somebody here in the chat, Jacob, I seen you pointed that out. I can't find it now going back. Whoever it was that gifted the memberships, thank you so much. God, I want to give them a shout out because it don't pop up in the chat. It just pops up in here. Did you get the name, Jacob? By chance?
It's in the text.
You sent it text me. All right, cool. I got so many devices going. Hey, let me ask you this, Emilio. I think we know Tim's take on this, although we will get a colorful response here in just 1 second. But Emilio, is it time to go to the big red dog yet, man?
No, I think you can take him out to go to the bathroom, but he needs to come back and sit down for a little bit. What we need to do, I think, is get Big Red Goo out on the stand and have him answer a couple questions and just see where we're at with the team after a bye and a loss to a 1-5 team. And that's, I think, where we need to be right now. Because Matt's not answering the questions. I thought the defense played all right. They kept us in the first half, or else I probably would have been out the door at that point. If it was 21-0, we would have been beat like the Lions today. So,
yeah, that was ugly. What?
That's tough.
Yeah. All right, Tim. Oh, first of all, Josh Martin, thank you so much for the super chat, buddy. Again, I respect your opinion. It could have been the case. I'm not saying it's not possible. I personally believe that he didn't know he was going to draft the quarterback. And kind of feel like, hey, man, you got somebody who's played here that long. You should at least go, hey, look, we got a really high grade on this Love kid. We want him to learn from the best, and that's you. This is your team until you want to retire. I think that would have went over a little bit better. Now, I do respect the fact that Rodgers took Jordan Love under his wing and treated him way better than Brett treated him, which we've all found out that Rodgers came in and kind of burnt that bridge right off the bat too, but that's a story for another day. All right, Mike Hebring with the super chat says Clifford is also not that guy. So staying on that topic, Tim, let's hear it, man. Why should we not go to Sean Clifford, Tim?
Well,
let these people know, man.
We just had a conversation about Jay Love not throwing the check down, or it's just a check down, and then he's just heaving the ball down the field. We say the same thing about Sean Clifford. What did we like about Sean Clifford in training camp? Oh, he's like Brett Favre, man. He's not afraid to throw those hospital balls, man. He's not afraid to sling that ball into triple coverage, And it's like, so that's the answer. Let's go to that guy when we're talking about QB1 right now, having similar struggles. That's why I don't see that being the move now. Talk to me in another month if we still look like a dumpster fire, but I think it's a little early to go there. I think it starts at the top. I'd like to see some better called games. I'd like to see teams better prepared to play football on Sunday, period. Whether it's a road or a home game. We got curb stomped at home last time we were at Lambeau. So road, home, whatever. These guys need to be ready to play. But as far as Clifford, man, granted that was entertaining. you see flashes and all of that, but to just willy-nilly think that throwing him in there is the answer is just, I don't know. I disagree with that.
Right.
I'm not saying I don't want to see the kid play. I just don't think that's the answer right now, you know?
Is there a week that you acknowledge, like, is there like a, say we go 4-8, like what, or I should say, what week do you say if we're not performing that you're like, all right, let's see what the kid's got?
I would say looking at our schedule, you know,
once we're out of like playoff contention mathematically kind of thing. And then it's
I think that's a good barometer, but I also think if you unequivocally know Jordan's not the guy, like I had alluded to earlier, I know a lot of us out here are already of that belief that, oh, he's not the dude. I'm leaning that way. I'm a little less confident in him than I was, but I'm not ready to unequivocally say he's not the dude. Now, I think when the organization is, and if we're not looking at even a wild card spot or anything like that, then maybe. And maybe that's a clear indicator what's going to happen. Like Clayton had said, that we're probably going to draft another quarterback, and it'll be a competitive camp in 2024. But I still think it's too early to start throwing the backup out there. Just personally, my personal feeling, I feel like we should give Jordan a chance to try to pull it together and play his way out of these struggles. And but you do that as a team, man. You do that with your coaches and your teammates. And if there's a culture issue, man, I don't know. I don't know if you could put Tommy Brady back there, man. And I don't know how much better this offense is going to be, honestly. So
I'll say this, I think that you've got to get as much here. Jordan Love's under contract for the next 2 years. Yeah, you can get out of it after this year, but I think what you've done is you've set the floor for your quarterback room, right, at a bare minimum. So I would like to see Jordan Love play this entire year and see if he can turn around, see what he can grow on, see what how his accuracy ends up, see if it improves, and give you a little bit better idea going into the offseason on whether or not you need to draft a quarterback or not. I think everybody unanimously right now, based off of what we have seen, would say, yeah, we probably need to try to upgrade the quarterback room right now. If that's the case and you go out and you draft a quarterback, whether it's early in the first or one falls to the second, you climb up in the second and take one like a Jalen Hurts, someone of that magnitude. Not that anyone expected Jalen Hurts to be as good as he was, but it's just kind of a good comparison there. Then you bring him in, you have him compete, and you maybe have him set for a full year, then step in as the starter the next year. Or you know what? You reevaluate at the end of that year and you might take another swing at quarterback. Guys, look at the 49ers. The 49ers went out and traded a second-round pick for Jimmy Garoppolo. He ended up not being the guy. While he was there, they draft Trey Lance. They sold the farm to draft Trey Lance. He wasn't the guy. And that led them to Brock Purdy, who is the guy, right? So there's you a perfect example of you've got to take multiple swings. You've always got to be looking for your quarterback. I kind of feel like the Packers did that with Aaron Rodgers. A lot of people forget this. Aaron Rodgers, first-year starter, they went out and drafted Brian Braum in the second round out of Louisville. A lot of people forget that, right? Because you're always looking to upgrade the most important position in the game of football for sure. But Mike Hebring, thank you so much for the super chat. I want to say this real quick. Jacob, thank you for sending that, buddy. So that was Nick McSwain that gifted 5 Packers Total Access membership. So appreciate that, Nick. You are awesome, buddy. That means a lot. And now those 5 will go in on the next giveaway because we've already got the list compiled, which we're going to spin the wheel here in just 1 second. I do want to point out in the text thread here, though, Emilio, you text at 7:49, my shave hit. And then the next text said, must shave. MUSHRAVE. So don't you dare try to convince me you wasn't in the daddy sodas, bro. All right.
I was trying to get you on topic to the Musgrave hit because that's what you guys were arguing about. And I was trying to get it to you fast, and fingers weren't working.
Hey,
a shave hit, bro. My name.
Cheesehead Murph in the chat said, "Hey Clay, got an ETA on that jersey? Asking for a friend." Smiling emoji. It's on its way. I will check tomorrow. Cheesehead. I don't know what's going on. I know Jacob, when he sent his memorabilia out, it got lost. It took a little while. I know that AJJ already confirmed that he got his jersey from the last one, so I'll check on that tomorrow for you, buddy. I promise you'll get it. We'll get it there to you as soon as we can. Again, I work for the postal service, bro. What's that?
Did you ever confirm that the guy did get mine? Because it took like a
Yeah,
week.
he did. He did. Actually, the day that you went and checked and you said, yeah, everything, they're supposed to be delivered, he messaged me the very next day and said, hey, just got it, man. Sorry to rush you guys. So
Nice.
that could happen to Murph. But again, I'm not going to risk it. I got the receipt where we shipped it. We'll go see where it's at for sure. But why don't we do this? Why don't we go ahead and give that next jersey away? That cool with you guys?
Do it.
All right, let's go. Here we go. Let's see. Let me remove this. What are you laughing about, Jacob?
Mike Hebring, he goes, Purdy's also not the guy. Love's not the guy. Clifford's not the guy. Purdy's not the guy.
Purdy's not the guy? Did I just hear that correctly?
Oh, it's
Man, I don't know about this, Tim. What do you think? Do you think Brock Purdy's the guy? Tim, you're muted, man. You're over there in the daddy soda.
I think if we're talking about San Francisco, it's the opposite of what I said about our team. I think anyone could go and play and run that offense and find some success.
Very good point, buddy.
Mm-hmm.
Godsmack, we're going to come back to you in a second, but we're going to go ahead and spin this wheel real quick. All right. So again, what we're going to do is we're going to spin it 3 times. Jacob, stop laughing. What's wrong with you, dude? Here we go. All right. We're going to spin it 3 times. Okay. There's 51 entries right now. I went through and all the updated YouTube members. That's what I came up with. I can only go off what I've got on the YouTube site. I double checked on desktop and on my phone. So, like I said, United Bates gifted memberships to half of Brown County. So that has dwindled down now, the ones who didn't re-up. So got a pretty good chance to win if your name is on this list. We're going to spin it 3 times. Okay. And I'm going to do this for this reason. If for some reason someone wins it that had a membership gifted to them, and they don't reach out and claim it, then the second winner will get the prize, okay? If they don't reach out, then the third one will get the prize, and we're going to give them enough time to claim it. Now, here's the other thing. There's people on this list that have already won jerseys, okay, like Cheesehead Murph. I can't remember if United Bates won one, whoever it was. Might have been John Baker. Nonetheless, if you win a second time, understand, you're still a YouTube member, right? So I don't want to remove people's names just because you already won. That ain't fair. But we're going to spin it 3 times in case you do want to be a blessing and give it to someone else like the second place winner. We'll give you the option, and no one's going to judge you if you don't, okay? But here we go. Let's spin the wheel. So the first winner for the autograph Paul Hornung jersey is Ryan Jagger.
Jagger.
Is that Jagger? Okay. Probably all right. There you go. All right. So let's close. All right, here we go. Here's the second winner. Give me that drum roll, boys. What are you doing? Oh, it's almost Nick McSwain. We got Chris N. All right, Chris N. And here's the third one. Drum roll.
Big money, no whammy. Big money, no whammy.
Stop.
Oh, man.
Too bad, though, Goose. You ain't getting it, bro. But unless you're one of these fake names here, either Ryan Jagger, Chris N. Sorry, Goose. You're so close, but always a bridesmaid, never a bride. You know what I'm saying? So,
the bell of the ball.
You be the bell of the ball. So, Ryan Jagger, if you're in the chat, shoot me an email whenever you see this, whenever you hear this. If anyone knows Ryan, reach out to him, send a homing pigeon, and tell him he won an autographed Paul Hornung jersey. And we'll wait for him to email us. We'll give enough time. If he doesn't claim the prize, I'm going to give at least a week or two because I don't want to cheat somebody out of something like that. Chris N would be the second place winner, and then Goose would be the third place winner. Okay, so we'll get that out. Let's see what else. Look at United Bates doing it again. He's making it so tough. I swear. Look at him. Get the 10 more Packers Total Access memberships. My hand's hurting. Yeah, I've been writing down names like crazy. I'm sure there's an easier way to do it, but my dumb redneck self can't figure it out. But it is what it is. So, all right, congratulations to Ryan Jagger for winning that jersey. We'll get that out. And again, Murph, I'll check on that for you tomorrow, buddy. All right, go back to the super chat here. We got Godsmack AR69 says, Josh Myers sucks. When he got injured, my dad was screaming for him not to return. Pops, boy. Papa Godsmack over there getting real.
No.
And when he returned, my dad screamed in his Marine voice, no. I'll tell you this.
I can't wait to see. We got to run back the film on that one, boy.
Tell him why you're saying that, Tim.
I swear, this is live. This is my reaction.
All right.
They replayed it one time. There was nothing but grass around him. and he hopped and fell down and started holding his knee. It looked like
On my knee.
it looked like European football type antics.
Oh, no, we didn't. Oh, we're going to give him some.
But hey, I mean, I don't know. I'm just saying it's what it looked like to me. It didn't look like it was definitely a non-contact injury. I'll tell you that.
Yeah.
So
When
maybe
I seen
he
it
just
first,
stepped funny. I don't know.
yeah, when I seen the way he reacted, I went, "Oh, that might be an ACL," because typically that's what you get, the non-contact, right? But when he came back in, I'm going, "What the heck did he do?" Like that's so rare that happens. Emilio, you probably got a little bit better understanding. What do you think happened to Myers there that he had to miss a little bit of time, then come back in? And I'm going to be real. I don't want anybody to get injured. Okay, you guys know I don't think Josh Myers is a very good center. I'm just being honest. Not that I can do any better. Just from what I've watched, what I've seen, I don't think he's a great center. That's just me personally. Mike Wall said he thinks he's average, right? But it kind of felt like the offense got a little bit better when he went out of the game. I could be wrong, but Emilio, what do you think the injury was, man? Play doctor here for a second with your sombrero.
It looked like he had stubbed his big toe. You know, we've had that happen before. I'm not sure, but honestly, it kind of looked like one of those things where you stepped on it wrong and it just like it's a stinger. But the fact he had 2 or 3 non-contacts today, that's what bugged me. Savage went down with 1. Myers went down with 1. What bugged me with Myers was when he ended up at left tackle blocking on a pass protection. I was like, dude, how did you get inside out and outside of Rasheed Walker over there? How did that even happen?
How did you end up over there?
We didn't call a pull guard to the left to block the edge rusher. Okay, that's not one of Matt LaFleur's pass protection. I can guarantee you.
I know this, man. When I seen Zach Tom warming up at center, this was my reaction. Here I come. I got kind of excited, and it seemed like things stabilized. But if I remember correctly, and everything's a blur, kind of felt like that was around the time that we started going to 11 personnel too. So it might have been more of that than Myers being out of the lineup. I don't know. Let's just look up in his PFF grade. Be darn near perfect, right? That's exactly how.
Who went over to right tackle?
Yash did.
Was it Yash? Yeah, I thought I saw Yash. Okay.
Yeah. And AR69, thank you so much for the super chat, buddy. We appreciate you. And also United Bates, thank you for gifting those memberships, dude. You're such a blessing, man. Always. We appreciate you being a part of the PTA posse for sure. Mike Hebring with the super chat said, so Watson healed up just long enough to get hurt again. It's not his fault. It's his destiny. I mean, you can't deny the fact that his has been kind of the MO, if you will. I hate it for him, man, because that dude, God, he's and the throw too. Like that's the thing. There's so many times that we heard people criticize Rodgers. Hey, throw it in the dirt. There was a lot of those dirt balls from 12 that were protecting his receivers, right? Yeah. And this is kind of on the opposite spectrum here, where he throws behind Watson. Watson had to plant his foot kind of weird. I think the defender landed on his ankle. If it's kind of what it looked like to me, but
bent his knee.
Yeah, it's tough, man. It's tough. So we'll keep our eye on that, guys. I'm just being real. It's looking like we're going to have a top 5 pick. I mean, it's very, very likely. And that's okay, man. Listen,
Jacob dropped his head.
Listen, you're going from a freaking 4-time. I've had people message me, and they're going, "Thank you for being positive, Clayton. Thank you for being mature." Me mature? You've lost your damn mind. They're like, man, and it's like one person asked me, "How can you be so positive? Like every time I tune in the post-game show or whatever, you're in a good mood. You're not, guys. You got to kind of see this coming. Like you're going from one of the best to ever do it." And I heard people last year. And if someone doesn't ask my opinion, I try to stay quiet. I'm not the person to climb into people's tweets and be like, "Oh, I disagree." I hate people that do that. I really do. If you ask me, I'll give you my honest opinion. But when there were people going, so this team's just going to magically get worse at every position because Aaron Rodgers isn't the quarterback, the offensive line's going to get worse because he's not setting the protection. Mm-hmm. Christian Watson got worse, right? Because he doesn't have Aaron throwing him the deep ball. How many times did we see the deep ball, right?
Full shot bucket.
Yeah, exactly. So, yeah, of course, players are going to play. You've heard it all along, Jacob. We've heard people say it over and over and over throughout the course of history when it comes to the NFL. Great quarterbacks make players around them better, right? That was the thing about Michael Jordan, too, in basketball. He made players around him. He made his teammates better. The great players make their teammates better. So it doesn't surprise me that, it takes a fall off from that. from losing a quarterback like that. Now, listen, how many years is he going to play? 2 or 3? So the fact that you got draft compensation for him and you knew the end was coming near anyway, and I think we would all agree, even with Rodgers on this team, they're probably not a Super Bowl contender. Will we all agree on that, or am I off base there? Tim, what do you think about that question? Let me ask you that.
I think if Aaron Rodgers was on this team, he still would have tore his Achilles, and we'd still have Jordan Love playing quarterback right now. So
we got draft compensation instead, right?
Right.
It is what it is. Yeah, that's a good way of looking at it. Not for Aaron's sake, but I understand what you're saying. You guys know what I mean. All right, United Bates with the super chat says, at Godsmack AR69, tell your dad I said Semper Fi. Look at that. A little
Love
super
it.
chat in the name of the Marines, man. I tell you, I got several buddies who are I'm trying to think of the proper way to say it because I always get corrected. It's not ex-Marines, it's not former Marines. I can't remember what it is. Inactive Marines. Maybe
there's no such thing as a former Marine.
That's what it was.
They're idling. They're just idling. They're just coasting.
Yep.
Yeah.
Looks like our team.
Jake Shavink's been in here the whole night. And I don't know if you guys have caught on to it. And United Bates, thank you for the super chat, buddy. And yes, Godsmack AR69, tell your dad thank you for his service, man. That's the top of the top right there, dude. Putting your life on the line for your country and doing it at the Marine level. That's a whole different ball game there.
Salute to the Marine Corps, the oldest branch of our military.
Yeah, absolutely. What was it, 17? I've actually got a t-shirt Mandy bought me that's got Ton Tavern on the back of it. And that's where the Marines were founded, if I remember correctly. So in that tavern that night. But Jake Shavink's been on fire tonight. I don't know if you guys have followed the chat, but he's just been randomly putting out quarterback names in the chat that are in the draft. And he said Justin Timberlake's voice. Jacob, you can do this. I know you can. Say it.
It's gonna be me.
Why did you sound like me just now?
You sounded like Garth Brooks, man.
I tried to get that high. I tried to I had to try to get the curly blonde. I don't know. It made my voice weird.
Hey, Emilio, he sounded like Jethro working down at the Wiggles, didn't he, bro?
4-7.
You guys know about a Wiggles? Y'all got Wiggles up north?
No.
Oh, bro. So it's a farm. It's a farm, right? Am I thinking right, Emilio? It's a farm, and they started a service station.
I believe so.
Yeah. So they provide it's kind of, it sounds a lot like Quick Trip, like what you guys have with Quick Trip, but it's,
we got Quick Trip,
yeah, it's very country and it's farm. It was supposed to be farm fresh food there for a while. I think it's morphed into more of kind of we're talking about gas stations. That's how bad this loss was.
Same. Bucky's is the best gas station I've ever seen.
No, dude, listen, I'm gonna tell you something about Bucky's right now.
Oh, no.
Everybody talked about Bucky's like it was the second coming of Jesus Christ himself. And I'm gonna tell you right now, I went to the Bucky's for the first time and I walked in like John Travolta. I went, this is it? Like, okay, it's a big gas station. What? And Mandy was like, oh, you got to try the barbecue sandwich, Clayton. I'm gonna get you a barbecue sandwich. Don't eat a barbecue sandwich from a gas station, fellas. It was horrible. Absolutely. It was supposed to be brisket. It was 90% gristle. And I'm going, I don't see the big deal about Bucky's. Sell me on Bucky's, Jacob. Why do you like Bucky's?
You got to go there at noon. Noon is when they apparently say that
everybody else's work.
I don't know. I've been to a Bucky's once. Was on a road trip. I don't quite remember it. I just remember that I was having a great time. Probably wasn't the gas station. It was probably all the things that I was having a great time with. But who knows? I left with a shirt. I know I bought a shirt.
Yeah.
Well, we know who's not sponsoring the show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And they've been in my email all week long. This is what I said.
I'm not going to, so quit asking.
A horrible barbecue sandwich. Get out of my email, Bucky's. Let's see what Boz said here. Boz in the chat said some Bucky's are better than others. Some Bucky's are better than okay. Still went over my head, but I think you had something there. I'm just too lazy to dig in. Let's see what else we got here. Goose says, Nice and Easy is the best gas station. Nice and Easy, bro. That's somebody working behind the gas station, I believe. Nice and Easy is the best gas station. They have a killer buffalo chicken pizza. They also got a killer in the dumpster out back.
Isn't that the place Jay and Silent Bob used to hang out?
I thought it was too.
One of those you got to take the key around the back to get to the bathroom sort of thing.
Yeah.
And then by then you're like, I don't have to go that bad.
Yeah. How many people eat, man?
Afam Rolfs in the chat says, watching Love makes me feel awkward. Listen, this is a family show. Afam, okay? So let's don't be talking about watching Love, all right? You know what I'm saying? Let's don't go there. Now, if he's talking about the quarterback, yeah, it does feel kind of awkward. Remember when he did the Bambi split earlier in the year when he caught the throwback. It's just like he's just not comfortable. I don't know, man. So it's interesting for sure. Let's see here. Eric Sutherland in the chat said, if Love's the guy, I'm the Pope. Let's imagine Eric Sutherland with the tats. You know what I mean? Let's see here. He also, Afam, I hope I'm saying that right. Afam Ross said, best places are in the South and get you some fried chicken too. Man, I grew up on fried chicken. I'm not a big fried chicken fan, but Mandy was raised by her great aunt, and I'm telling you, we called her Nanny. And this woman, she was just, her fried chicken was unbelievable, man. She made me fall in love with fried chicken, no doubt. It's a real chain, Goose, in New York. Of course, it's in New York, right? Of course. What else we got, guys? Well, first of all, Chris in here. I guess I'm leading the charge. He said, Clayton, keep the heat on Gooten and Matt LaFleur. Yeah. Yeah, I hate it. I really do. Let's go around the horn here. We're way over. This is fun, though, man. We needed this therapy.
We got Jacob over here.
Yeah, Jacob, what you got, dude? You're always giggling.
He literally said when we started, he goes, hey, we're just going to go for a couple hours. We're at an hour 30.
Yeah, I was open too, man. I don't want to go downstairs. Mandy's going to wake up from her nap and go, she's going to see the score and go, what happened? I don't want to talk about it. I'm just going to let her lay down right now. Jacob, final thoughts, dude. Let's wrap this thing up here.
All right, final thoughts. I need a change. And it's not that I right now, it's not that I'm calling for the head of LaFleur, Goody, Love, but you need to do something drastic right now. You need to, because like we've seen this, go into the locker room, whatever reason, you guys cannot perform in the first half. You do something in the second half, and then you come out and you're ready to play football. To me, that's a coaching issue. You have to figure out a way to get those guys to do the same thing they do in the second half that they can do in the freaking first half. You've shown that you can do it. You have the capability. For whatever reason, you're not excited to get to the field. You're not excited to go travel on the road. You're not excited to perform in prime time. And I don't know why. I don't understand. I don't know if there's like, remember when, back in the day when they're talking about like, oh, they don't let music play during the practice. Whatever you got to do, dude, you need to, start blaring some freaking 50 Cent or some Lil Wayne or whatever you got to do, man. Green and yellow. Let's go.
Doing that already, man.
I don't know what else to do, man. I don't know.
Yeah. Carly Ray in the chat was asking Goose, did Matt say why he only ran Jones 8 times? And I don't know if
Goose... to hear that answer. Oh, we got to get him involved a little more.
His final statistics.
Eyebrows.
Aaron Jones, 8 carries, 35 yards, and he had 3 catches for 22 yards, but 5 targets. So they targeted him total, right? They tried to get the ball to him 13 times. And they got it to him 11 times. I believe that. No, let's see, 10 times. I'm sorry. No, hold on a minute. Yeah, 11 times. They got it to him for 11 times for 35 plus 22, so 57 yards. Yeah, not going to get it done. Not going to get it done. So, all right, Godsmack Arrow 69 United Bates. My dad says to Devil Dog Semper Fi. Love it. Love it. All right, Tim, final thoughts, dude. Listen, put a positive bow on this thing for us, Tim. You've been in a good mood all night. Hit it with it, bro. Come on.
I'm going to try. First of all, on the practice thing, they're bumping 50 Cent and Tupac and all of that. I was there the other day, and I could hear it from 2 blocks away. So maybe they need to just not do that. Maybe they should just simulate crowd noise or something at practice. Final thoughts. One thing.
50 Cent is going to help Packers.
That's a pretty big dude, man. He might be able to play, safety or something.
I got some advice for y'all. Take 2 weeks off, then quit.
Oh my God.
Well, you wanted me to keep it positive, Clayton. I don't know if I can.
Well, read this comment. This would make it positive for you. Trade Aaron Jones.
No. Yeah, I will respectfully say I 150% disagree with you.
I knew you would.
My wife was nice enough to remind me. We talked about this last night and actually earlier about lack of preparation. It was interesting to me, like Jacob made the point of like, this is how we come out after an extended bye. We basically had like a bye week and a half kind of thing. And guys show up not ready to play. It's like, I made the comment yesterday about why did they fly out Saturday afternoon if they had extra time? Why not come out into Denver a little earlier, maybe Friday, and then get yourself an extra day to get acclimated to playing up there? Granted, wind and stuff wasn't a factor today. It was a beautiful day for football up there, but it's an altitude change. It's a different type of environment to play in, especially, again, a lot of guys who have never played there, never played a football game at Mile High in their career. I bet you most of our roster has never played a game there. You'd think they would have maybe left a day earlier and got a little more acclimated, but they didn't. So I'm with Jacob. I'm trying to be positive, but it's really difficult right now. Something's got to change. One thing we know for sure, drastic moves are not going to be made during the season. So I don't expect a trade before the October 31st deadline. I don't expect any firings, and I do not expect a change at quarterback. So we need to make changes elsewhere, guys. And all we can do is, pray for the best here and try and stay positive. Looks like Rasul and Quay came to play today on defense. So that's a positive. I guess I'll leave you with that. Go, Pat, go.
Yeah, and I've got to point out that I think I got to watch the tape, but I think Rasul blew the coverage on the touchdown.
Yeah.
But you're right. Rasul did. He was kind of reacting like it was someone else's fault. But I tried to rewind it back on the TV copy real quick during the commercial and just see. And to me, it looked like it was man coverage. But again, got to go back and watch the all 22. What were you going to say, Emilio?
No, I was saying, yeah, it looked like man. It looked like the two inside pushed up on streak routes, kind of ran their mans, and as Rasul was trying to get across, he was getting rubbed out and just didn't get over the top or tried to go underneath and got 4 steps behind. But again, I mean, I would still put the C on Rasul's chest. I mean, he's out there every play. It's not like I see Rashawn out. I mean, I love Rashawn, but who started the game? Wasn't it Enigbare and somebody? It's not even like Rashawn was out there to start the game. So, right. I mean, I thought it was Enigbare and LVN that started it. So, if Matt LaFleur wants a player-led team, J Love, if he wants to be that leader, needs to call one of those gym meetings at 10 o'clock at night and say, hey, like. It's got to be on us at some point. They can't hold our hands forever. That coaches aren't out on the field when we're playing. So it needs to be something that they take to heart and say, hey, if we want to be 4-15 this year, that's fine. But we're going to go down swinging, and we don't hear we don't hear like Dobbs is back there with the jugs machine again. I want to hear that. I want to hear, hey, we had 3 meetings this week after practice. We stayed. This is our job. This is what we want to be good at. Team needs something.
Very well said.
Yep.
Goose, I seen your comment, and I ain't going to read it out loud. I'm just going to hit you with one of these.
That's what she said.
All right. United Bates, thank you for the super chat. He said, as miserable as we all are, y'all are the best. Clayton, Jacob, Tim, Emilio, and Carly Ray. That chat. Omer, Goose, Cheesehead. We are in the dumpster fire together. We appreciate that, man. Seriously. We always, after a loss, it's tough, man. I don't want to get on here and do a post-game show after a loss, but we're going to have a good time. We're going to talk about what actually happened. We're not going to sugarcoat anything. We're going to have some fun, and we're going to try to find positives as we wrap up so everyone can at least try to get a couple hours of sleep when we lay down this evening. But here's the good news, in my opinion, and I'm going to open the floor for anybody else who's got anything else before we wrap up. But the good news is we're getting answers to questions, right? We really are in real time. It's happening right now. We're getting the question answered. Is Jordan Love the guy? Is Matt LaFleur the guy? Right? And there's still a whole lot of season left. I'm not sitting here saying there's absolutely no chance they can't turn it around. I wouldn't be surprised if it happened. It's happened to worse teams, right, in the league. It really has. Right now, I want to see a complete evaluation of the roster. What do we have? Who's going to be a part of the future? How do we need to upgrade these tier 1 and tier 2 positions of importance and getting ready this coming offseason? That's what this whole season was about, man, was evaluation. And we get a couple of wins, get excited. We being me. I'm not putting words in here. Some of y'all are going, you got a mouse in your pocket. Like, for me, it was we get a couple of wins. I'm like, okay, we might have a 10-win team here. I've said it over and over. And now we're back into that, 6 range, right? It is what it is. It is what it is. So, but again, we appreciate the kind words, United Base. Appreciate you supporting the stream, buddy. We're going to be here every step of the way, win, lose, or draw. There's no doubt about that because we just like talking ball, man, and we're going to learn. There's a lot to be learned in this season. There really is. And there's a lot of carryover learning that happened from last year if people are willing to swallow their pride and say, I was probably wrong on that. I've had to do it on multiple things, right? I had to do it last year going in. I was the guy that said, you know what? I wish that Goody hadn't pissed Devontae Adams off 2 years ago and we still had him. But I think Allen Lazard's a number one receiver. I think he can be a number one receiver.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. I was wrong. Let me tell you, fellas. I was wrong. So Dogbone in the chat says Post Clarity says MLF needs to cry.
Oh man.
I don't know.
Could have gave us at least $10 for that one. But.
Yeah. I was hoping you were going to read it.
Use. I'm trying to find the right soundbite for that. I'm gonna hit him with this.
There you go.
Yeah.
Dogbone, thank you for the super chat, man. And I appreciate you trying to get me canceled, but it is. A couple other people got it here. All right, yeah. Let's go ahead and get off here while we still have a YouTube channel, gang. What do you think? Anything else? Anybody?
Hopefully, we're not sponsored by OnlyFans when this is all said and done.
Only feet, right, Goose?
Yeah.
Oh, my lord.
All right, so let's go around the horn here real quick. Just want to give a special shout out to everybody. Josh Martin, Mike Hebring, Godsmack AR, United Bates. Let's see, ROK Beast, Josh Martin. I may have to read a couple of them twice. Godsmack again, Mike Hebring again, Godsmack again, the Badger Trio, Drew D, Nick McSwain, AJJ. Let's see here, CL. Got some new people in here. This is awesome, man. Don't want to skip over anyone. I think that's all of them. And Dogbone, of course, with the I'm gonna put it up there one more time. There you go. Bang. Read it to me right there, Jacob, one time.
Post Not Clarity says Matt LaFleur needs to try at some other team's podium.
Thank you guys so much for the super chat. I really appreciate it. You guys are helping more than you know. I want to, like I said, say Ryan Jagger, if for some reason you hear this crazy show, you did win the autographed Paul Hornung jersey. All right, so reach out as soon as you can. Shoot me a message through email. A YouTube comment will be fine, and we'll just have to confirm that it's you. I've got ways that I can do that so nobody can steal the memorabilia from you. And then if he doesn't reach out, then we'll have Chris in. If they don't reach out, then we'll have Goose. I would rather somebody else get it than Goose because Goose is always trying to get me canceled in here as well. But we got to stick to the list the way it falls. So with that being said, you guys got anything? We good? Everybody good?
Go Pack.
Man.
Go Pack. It was so pitiful. Go Pack.
I tried.
All right, we're out of here. For those of you listening on the pod, thank you for making us a part of your day. As always, let's go out and be the change we want to see in the world and go Pack up.
The power sweep. Actually, it's the lead play in our offense.
Tell the tackle, take the defensive end if he's over him. If he's not, you drive down the first man to his inside. Pull back and tell him to take the first man outside the offensive tackle. No one shows. Go right by them and field inside. If the YN has the linebacker taken out, he cuts inside. If the YN has the linebacker in, he comes all the way around. If you look at this play, what we're trying to get is a seal here and a seal here and try to run this play in the alley.